This video shows how to use the pool settings report in the iBoss World website. So this is the fourth report, if you will, in the report level. And this checkbox will, if it's checked, certain statistics will be calculated. If it's not checked, they will come up as NA because those statistics depend on these numbers being set. The first one is the pool type, which is a drop-down list of different types of trucks. This sets the icon that shows up on the graphical site list. The battery count is used for the statistic of the number of cycles per battery per week. If we don't know the number of batteries, we can't calculate that. The truck count is used in our battery reserve, which is where we take the average of the minimum graph divided by the number of trucks, and that way we can have a statistic that works no matter how big the pool size is. It'll work for large numbers of trucks and small numbers of trucks. And then the empty slot count, this would be 0 in a typical battery changer application where all the slots can be filled. In a site where there is no battery changer and you have to have one empty slot to accept the battery coming off of a truck so that then you can go and grab the new battery, some sites will always have one empty slot. So this number being put in there will help make the statistics more accurate, to help us with our alerts, but it also helps us make a logic check on these, because if you take the number of trucks and the number of slot chargers, that should equal the number of batteries, unless you have an empty slot always, and then you need to subtract one to equal the number of batteries. So for example, we could have a situation with 10 chargers, 9 trucks, 9 batteries. So if I take 10 chargers and 9 trucks, I would expect to have 19 batteries, but since I always have one empty slot, I'd have 18 batteries, and then that makes sense. Battery information. This is for your information. We don't really do anything with that right now. And then the alert settings are the place where you can adjust how sensitive you want the system to be. So throughout the system, all of those summary statistics we highlight in orange when it's out of range, and that's what we display on the site list as the number of alerts that are currently open. So if you can make this system as sensitive or not as sensitive as you want it to be. So inactive chargers, this is if a particular charger hasn't seen use in 30 days, it is considered an inactive charger. We find out how many chargers are in that category. If you have some chargers you know are not going to be used, if they're tagged out, if they're not installed yet, then you can say, okay, I know 2 chargers will never see any use, but I want you to tell me if there are 3 or more. So you would set this number to a 2. You can also just turn any of these alerts off if you're just not interested. The percentage of mispicks, right now, if we have more than 10% of the picks are mispicks, we'll get an alert. This alert's turned off right now, percent on charge mispicks. But again, an on charge mispick is when the charger is still charging and somebody picks. If you want it to alert you, pick your percentage. The 0 available pick, you'll notice, is not a percentage, because 0 available picks, most sites consider this to be very bad. We never want that to happen. Now, if it's okay that 3 times a month somebody goes into the battery room and there are no batteries available and they have to pick from a charger that's still charging, fine, put a 3 in here. Battery to truck ratio, this is the alert that I was talking about before, where if the numbers don't add up as far as the number of trucks, the number of batteries, the number of chargers, and the number of empty slots, if that ratio doesn't add up correctly, then we'll highlight the actual ratio, and it indicates you might need to change some of the numbers that you have data entered. The battery cycles per week, in this case, if we have less than 3 cycles per battery per week, we might be underusing the batteries. It might indicate more batteries than you need. Or if you're going more than 5 cycles per week, we want to know, because we might be overcycling the batteries. This is one where you can look at your current numbers and maybe set it a little bit higher and a little bit lower, and it'll tell you whether things are changing or not. Battery reserve, this is that statistic that's a little hard to explain, but it seems to have a lot of predictive ability is that if we're less than 20 or 25%, those pools tend to be the ones that are really running low and running out of batteries. And the pools that have higher than 50%, they have a strong tendency to have too many batteries. Charger no starts, we don't want that. So anything more than one charger no start in a month in this particular case is going to alert. Missing charger capacity is often confused with inactive chargers. This is a scenario where maybe all the chargers could be working, but you never get in as many fully charged batteries as you have chargers. So in the case of, let's say you have those 10 chargers and one empty slot, you would expect to have 9 fully charged batteries at some point. If it never gets higher than 5, why aren't you getting 4 more? Do you have batteries that are tagged out? Do you have batteries that are missing? Do you have people that aren't plugging them in when they should? It means that you effectively have lost 4 chargers, and you need to find out why. The days with minimum batteries is fairly straightforward. How many days in the month did you hit 0? And in this case, as long as they don't hit it more than 3 times, it's okay. If it goes 4 more, it's an alert. And then the cooldown of less than 8 hours. If, in this particular example, if more than 25% of the time when we pick a battery, it's had less than 8 hours of cooldown, then we will consider that to be an alert. The final thing is make sure you hit the save button if you change anything. And once you set these settings, you will get exception reporting that's customized to your specific needs.